Well, I think when you look at Penix, to me, it's about finding that right fit, and it's the scheme fit as well as, the players around him. You go to a place that can run the football, and you can go deep play action. I'm talking about deep drops, 7-step drops, and play over the top of coverage. I think he's got a chance to thrive because you get a chance to give him clean pockets. He's as gifted a thrower as we have in this entire draft. I mean, the ball on drive throws, outs, comebacks, it's exceptional. Over the top throws, not a problem. Some of the layer things, some of those layer throws, those up and down throws, I thought there was some issues there, and you've talked about when he has to move around and reset, you can have some trouble. But you go somewhere, you run the ball, you've got speed on the outside, and you want to be a shot-taking offense, I think Michael Penix would make some sense there. In terms of comparisons, Lance, I'm not going to make you make a left-handed comp here. If you want to take a right-handed quarterback, I give you the floor. Is there anybody that comes to mind?
There's nobody really that comes to mind. I went through some different quarterbacks who, of course, the lefties come to mind a little bit. I said, let's see, Mark Brunell. No, we're not Mark Brunell. Are we Boomer Esiason? We're not Boomer Esiason. I really had a tough time. I don't think I even came up with a comp for him. Every once in a while, we have an early round quarterback that you can't come up with. I know you have a comp on him, though. I'm interested to see who that is because I know I've heard you say it before, but I can't remember who you have.
With Penix, who was my comp? I don't know that I've tossed out a Penix comp before. I know Kirk Cousins is one, is just a pure pocket passer. And I think Penix's arm is bigger than Cousins, whereas Cousins, I think, can make some of those more intricate throws that Penix might struggle with a little bit. I might shock you with this one. There's some Jay Cutler just as a thrower. Jay Cutler has a huge arm on Jay Cutler. So that's one that I could see, as a pocket guy. And Cutler, underrated athlete. Penix, you go back to his time at Indiana, pre-injury, he can still move around as well. And that would be one, if I'm forced to make a comparison, I will reluctantly use Jay Cutler.
I just looked up my comp. Here's a lazy comp, Tua. When it's just lefty, can throw a pretty ball. I mean, it comes out similarly. Good spin.
He's got more power.
Yeah, he does not have the horsepower that Michael Penix has on his nose.
Yeah.
That's the problem. I want to get back to something. You talked about the scheme. I thought a perfect fit for him, and they don't have a second-round pick, but one name to keep in mind, although they've now traded for Sam Howell, I thought it would have been great if somehow Seattle was able to find a way before the Sam Howell edition to add Michael Penix.
Was his offensive coordinator.
Exactly, who I thought he was brilliant with Ryan Grubb as his offensive coordinator, but now with Howell, I would assume that's going to be out. But do you have a name in mind? Do you have a team in mind where you think this is the scheme that he'd look good in?
Yeah, the team that's all about speed for the last 50 years and wants to play over the top of teams that wears silver and black and resides now in Las Vegas. That's the one. And if you look at Aiden O'Connell, I don't think he's the long-term answer. They go out and get Gardner Minshew. Okay, Gardner Minshew's, to me, you're going to love him in spurts as you do throughout his career, and then you're always going to want better. If you just talk about throwing ability and throwing talent, and you put those three guys in a line at training camp and watch one throw after the other, I don't think it's close with what Penix can do throwing the football compared to those two guys.
Yeah, from a standpoint of being able to unlock the physical gifts of the quarterback, I mean, he's going to far exceed the other two quarterbacks you have. It would be a good spot for him, too, because you can really compete over there with this. There's nobody that really threatens you. There's not going to be necessarily a quarterback controversy. So that would actually be a really soft landing spot for him as well, especially with that wide receiver they have out there on the edge.
Well, I think we're in agreement on this one then, Lance. I mean, I think the Raiders, I don't know, maybe it's a trade back scenario. 13, I think some folks might think the coffee's a little too rich there. Maybe trade back a little bit and get an opportunity there with Michael Penix. At least throw him in the mix, add another talented player to your offense here. Maybe has a chance to develop into being your long-term starter. So you've got the Raiders there, you've got Seattle. Those two teams make a lot of sense. So I'm all in on either one of those. Raiders, Seahawks, Michael Penix, congratulations. You're going to one of those two.